FiiO just can't and won't stop to create amazing gear. They had a pretty good swing with K15 and K17, especially K17 being such a versatile and great product from DAC, streaming and headphone amplifier perspective. They also have M21 and M23 DAPs, which hold a lot of value in their price range. They have also R7 and R9 products that I really love, especially their quality of DAC, headphone amplification, and I really love that form factor. But now they want to try their luck in a full-fledged desktop audio streaming, which is only purposed to be your DAC streamer, in a very crowded price range of 1,100 euros. And on paper, this device truly rocks. As what I have seen, it has an incredible spec sheet and it just won the ASA award for the best streaming, which is a prestigious award, especially for FiiO to defeat all the more established players. But will I like it more than some already established favorites of mine? Let's find out. As you might have noticed by now, FiiO already have two lineup of streamers, their R series and K series. The both lineups want to act as a versatile devices aiming at the headphone enthusiasts, but one being more of a purist device than other. But S series of FiiO tries to grab that thunder that devices like Eversolo put to try to give maximum output from DAC and streaming. It is less versatile, but more of a savant of a device. So headphone peeps should probably search for a separate headphone amplifier to use with this streamer. But for the rest, let me assure you, what FiiO does here is maximizing its potential in this value here. It is crafted from components which you expect now in this price range. They did not skip on anything. But let's not get out of ourselves. Let's talk first about looks and then features. The device looks good, nothing that blew me away, but it has a certain FiiO design language. So if you like that, you're going to like this device as well. It is not a small device, it is a big one. But the quality and the sturdiness of materials is amazing. At front there is two buttons and one big screen. That screen is certainly a highlight as it is big with vivid colors and responsiveness. It works on an Android platform, so the UI is almost like outdated sort of Android operating device. If you like that, if you are familiar with that, then you know what's up and what you're gonna get with this device. But for me, well, wait a little bit longer to hear my thoughts later in the review. But I love big bold screens and this is the one. Back of the device is just mind-blowing. Honestly it is. FiiO's philosophy was what you want we have. I was surprised how far did FiiO think. And it's probably an indicator for who this device is. But they will give you a shell, a HD cage for SSD hard drive, so you can slot it in inside the device. It has a dedicated space inside the device for it, so it can seamlessly work together and not to have hard drive dangle and hang outside of the device. I have no words for smart thinking like this. It fits beautifully and you even get a small USB-C cable to connect it without making the device larger and cables dangling everywhere. Love, love, love that. But you also get, believe it or not, SD card reader. I honestly don't know for who this is, but wow. You also get HDMI and HDMI ARC, which again I surely love. Having art and lyrics at your TV is just super convenient. It also has I2S, it has two USB-A and two USB-C, one on each back and front. It's a really smart thinking from FiiO for those who use USB sticks to play music. When the device is close to the wall, you're definitely going to have them at front better than at back. You also have ICE-EBU in and out, and that is really rare. You have 2 coaxial and 2 optical in and out. You have line-in RCA and not just one, but 2 sets, so you can connect 2 sets in 2 zones for 2 speakers. You also have XLR outputs and you have grounding and trigger out. And yes, do not forget you have Wi-Fi and Bluetooth antenna. And the Bluetooth antenna is actually also very capable with aptX, adaptive and LDAC. So this amount of flexibility and connections is amazing, and it should be in this price level. FiiO with this shames everyone. But also inside is equally impressive. You see, FiiO opted for a big device, but there is a reason for that. They have chosen to separate all the components with electrical shielding, to have a clean output on every component. This is something you see in a quality build expensive devices, how it separated inner components into 3 partitions. You also get 35 watts linear power supply. Absolute yes. DAC is AKM4499EX, which is current flagship of AKM. I spoke many times on this channel about it, but it is a great and detailed DAC. Also, I have to give props to FiiO for a very detailed explanation and schematic of inner components on their website. They have nothing to hide when it is this quality. This DAC can rival easily DACs to somewhere 400-500 euros of standalone DACs. This is the same DAC configuration that you can find at much more expensive Eversolo DMP A6. They used very quality audio capacitors, isolators and clocks. If you want to know more, then absolutely go to the FiiO website. So versatility of this device is huge as a streamer, as a preamp, as a digital hub for all your needs, as a DAC, as a connection to music servers, etc. There are a couple of ways to connect this to device wirelessly. You can use DLNA, you can use Rune, you can use AirPlay, you can use Bluetooth and Android mirroring via FiiO Connect application. One thing to notice is that support for Tidal is extremely poor, and if you use Tidal, it is a subpar experience. It is much better with Spotify, Deezer, Cubase, etc. But classical Spotify Connect or Tidal Connect is non-existent, and as there is no Chromecast on this device, so keep that in mind for the future. There is also a great and extending reaching equalizer with both parametric and standard equalizer, but also effects like width, bass, treble, balance, etc. It is just adding more and more on flexibility scale. With all of this, you get even a remote in the box, and it is just truly fully what something that costs 1,100 euros should be, all on max, and quality components and everything for amazing results. I cannot give it enough praise here. So how does it sound after so much praise I have given for flexibility and a build quality and inputs and outputs? Well, really good. Honestly, the sound was how I expected, as after reviewing for a long time, when you have in front of you a set of elements, you kind of already know in what way they will behave and sound. And if I can commend one specific trait which is a super underrated in this streamer, is how it allows it to be dynamically rich. Yes, dynamics here are outstanding. It is a shining bright star of this streamer. Bass had this commanding reach and presence, but also a lot of expression in treble and highs. Some might enjoy this superbly as it makes the music fun, more driven, more energized. That characteristics will be your driving point with this sound. It also needs to find that spark in you that just loves some good rock music or some jazz. This will help your speakers if they have tendency to swing. As when I had Menuets on them, the bass on Menuets is okay. Nothing to write stories about. But it did manage to push that little bit more from them to sound more commanding and more present. When I put Wharfdale Lintons, which is a different tale altogether, you can see speakers which are bass talented become just more massive. And in the way that quality sources like this manage not to become bouncy or bloated to the point that delicate textures of bass get lost. Bass is a place where textures and details can get easily lost, especially when the room acoustics are not decent. For the sake of a massive boom and bop, but you should never accept that. You want to hear that cello, you want to hear the double bass, you want to see that deep growls of voice. They all have timbre, even though it is not easy to be heard like on some other frequency scale, as this is a quality source which allows your speakers' talents, if they have, to flourish and become more precise without cutting the bass too much. Yes, the streamer, same like any other source, is a helper, not a star of the show. It will not fundamentally change the sound of your system, but it will help in enhancing its talents if they are there. If your speakers are not talented in some area, do not expect now for them magically to appear to be good now. Same thing can be said for the dynamics of treble, and this is a signature synergy of AKM. It is a detailed, forward, and sometimes merciless sound, but it helps some speakers flourish here. Say you have K15 S15 with you. It will make their sound a bit more agile at the top, because it knows that precision, synth leads, lead guitars need push, and you can truly feel edges of instruments there. They are real and forward. You can feel the edges, they become palpable. Details and textures make them more real on soundstage. Your organics, materials from which you can hear the production and masterings of your songs. Have something like blues guitar here with its real live feeling to it, and you feel that raspiness of textures, that breath in that room. Just that kind of production and mastering really works here. So detailed textures presentation will appear in treble. The voices are a bit sharp and forward, and while you might miss some presentation where it is smooth and clear and have a lot of space and breath around them, but they will have weight when needed. They will have details and textures, presence when needed. They will jump at you and be full of life. But for those ballads, chamber music, some pop, you might want a bit softer, smoother presentation with a lot of clarity and room to breathe. But you get something and you lose something. And while we are on a subject of that, let's speak about two things which are not bad, but could be better. Transparency is one of it. I love how some streamers allow some of my speakers to be more decluttered, more insight in that blackness of background. I like sometimes to lower the tension and just relax, or to be clinical in these moments, and I value most or out of everything some room to analyze, some compactualizations on soundstage that allows me to listen here and say, aha! But it could give more space between instruments. It could allow me not constant barrage of details and textures, but some breath, timbre and decay to last longer. I love the music that allows me to relax in a way to not overanalyze it, or even to allow me that, but for me to be able to choose. Again, this is not a minus, it's just a preference. The second thing is soundstage. Again, it is good, but nothing groundbreaking. My vocals and Q acoustics can attest to that. I wish that, like some other streamers, it would push soundstage more horizontally. It packs stuff a bit too dense, not much airiness, even with the airy speakers. so the soundstage does not bloom so much. I just wished more of a precision and width to instruments where on this grand stage they belong. Not that FiiO does not bloom, but a bit more push in a vertical and horizontal could make this a killer deal altogether. So the sonic quality of this streamer is great, it's maybe even the best. It truly is an absolute masterclass in dynamics, but also textures, details, presentation is also top notch. If you value energy, presentation, details, then this one is absolutely for you and you will not be disappointed. Talking about pairing and synergy, it is important to know that this will not have such a powerful influence on your sound as amp or speakers. Rather, it will enhance some areas of your already hi-fi system in-house. But still, it is great to know what kind of gear will mostly benefit from it. Honestly, with its dynamic richness, most will benefit are the balanced and neutral speakers, as they will have boost in decibels in both bass and treble. So something like Helix, Dynaudio, Kev, Acoustic Energy, etc. But it can also go good with some speakers that don't have good bass response, like some Dalis and some Bowers and Wilkins, as it will give it more gravitas. Maybe the combination that least benefits from these are some darker, bassier speakers. Not that it will sound bad, but this streamer enhances some areas that these speakers already excel. But unfortunately, I have to speak why this amazing device is just not for me. And I wanted to love this device so much, as when I heard it at CES 2025 and I fell in love with it, especially that I heard that it won ASA award. But the user experience of it is rather bad. Or maybe to say it that use cases that FiiO excels at are not the use cases that I use and how I use the device, because the way that I use the device, FiiO shows just very subpar poor experience. Let's say it like this. This device wants to be everything to everyone, and it is. It covers so much ground. But I wanted it to be an amazing streamer for me, pure streamer. And while sonically it is, convenience-wise and just ease of use it is not. I actually had so much problem with it that when I was side by side with other streamers that I analyzed it and compared this for this review, when I'm done clinical listening and listening for this review, I kind of gravitated towards them more. For simple reason is that for example, Bluesound node icon, I just pick up my phone, play a song on Tidal, and it just works. Art appears on my streamer, music plays right away, I easily navigate to other albums, etc. With FiiO, it is always an extra click, an extra step, an extra maneuver to do that. I mean, even if you use Spotify, sort of like direct or Android mirroring, to show playback at your screen of S15, you have to navigate to FiiO playing. But that is just an app, so unless you turn off the screensaver, after some time it will jump to the UI of screensaver. And if you jump somewhere else, that is not FiiO playing, to pause the song you have to return to the application to pause it. But because it is an external third-party application, you cannot search in it or see the list of songs or do anything more than previous song, next song, and pause and play. Some cool stuff is that if you use Spotify, you will at some tracks have videos playing on the screen. I love it so much. But Spotify and Cubase are not meant to be used in that weird aspect ratio on your phone when you're mirroring. They are not natively built for this streamer, so to use this application while something becomes better, other things become so harder to navigate and use if you use these applications directly. Still, the best way is to use it on your phone, but the connection is not coexistent if you play music over your phone. You have to navigate to Spotify app or FiiO playing app when you play music, which is additional steps, additional things to do. And good luck to activate currently playing on Spotify directly on S15. It is a nightmare. For that, the best thing is FiiO playing app, but I already explained the problems with FiiO playing app. Without classical connection methods, connection with streaming services is fiddly and often breaks. The FiiO app is kinda half-baked and is laggy, and it often just stops working and the connection disconnects, which made me so much angry when I was doing side-by-side things, as I was... That was the moment I realized that, yeah, this software is just not for me. It's laggy, it just disconnects, and you always have to click a few more steps and buttons to connect it again to FiiO S15. But even when it works at a mobile phone, it uses the same aspect ratio as your screen, and it looks very bad on your phone or tablet. The experience was so poor and subpar that I was shocked. Honestly, it feels that they had Android and didn't have enough manpower to actually adapt to Android's weaknesses to make this work really well for like modern streamer. But I was thinking, okay, this is poor, but maybe the experience of playing my DSDs from SSDs will be better. And it didn't. I calculated that when I turned on the device, I needed 4 to 5 clicks and some waiting time to access my files and play the song. And the whole experience felt like something from 2012. And why? I just asked myself, why? Just this all could be done so much better if they maybe invested more in user experience and to create a UI which kind of works better. If the app was not super laggy and constantly losing connection, it might remediate the pain a little bit, but it is just not. And I guess if you're a person that uses this device with your data servers like NAS or with direct connection with your PC, so you do not have connection with this via mobile, you might not experience problems that I have. But I use this as a regular streamer, as I sit at couch and I just want to enjoy my music. But if you can somehow find a turnaround around all this, what I spoke now, then you're lucky, as this streamer is phenomenal. I felt that some functionalities in this app could be remediated if there was some additional actions on that remote control. That would help greatly. I had so much frustrations with software that I cannot see myself to use this as my daily driver. And I was so sad as I want this to become my favorite new device, as it looks great. It has an amazing screen, it has so much inputs and outputs, it has horsepower and innards to race forever. It should be the best, and for some maybe it is, but it is just not for me. It is a personal thing, as if you think I'm just saying rubbish now, then good for you, then this device is just amazing. But I couldn't get over this, how weak the software was. I had 2 competitors of this device with me, so to side by side them. And these 2 competitors lie in the same price range, so it is perfect. That is a Bluesound Node Icon, which is equally priced, and Eversolo DMP A6, which is a bit cheaper, but you have Master Edition, which is a bit more expensive from it. Closest comparison is Eversolo DMP A6 and especially DMP A6 Master Edition. And I say it both sonically, and the similar issues I have with S15 exist in DMP streamers. They sound similarly. They are both detailed, textured, and dynamically great streamers. S15 might just bring more in bass and more in treble, so as a streamer, S15 is probably a little bit better, but better. The S15 just added more extension to bass, it just sounded more commanding, and treble had more rounded sound with certain tracks. More details and textures to truly make it more alive. But the sound is really close to each other. This is not what I'm saying, like earth and sky difference, so you can like easily detect which one is better, especially if you independently hear both devices. It will take you some time to even hear differences. They're very similar, but I just think that S15 sounded a little bit more mature. S15 had a lot more connections, inputs and outputs, and flexibility in what it can do. But I personally prefer more Eversolo software, even though it is far from being perfect as well. As I think UI and UX of their software is better, it just works much better as well. I also prefer Eversolo screen more, and just the size and the weight of unit, I personally prefer Eversolos. Which I would choose if I had both standing next to each other and I wanted to listen to music. Well, if I wanted like the best sonics, I would probably go with S15. But for my daily driver, I would choose A6 Master, as I just enjoy it so much more using it. One thing to add is that Eversolo T8 is out and it is in a similar price range, and I have not heard it. And that might change few things for me, but for now I speak only from the things I know. So how about my favorite streamer in this price range? How about Bluesound Node Icon? And the interesting thing is how differently they sound. Everything that I said S15 could do better, Node Icon does. It is more clear and transparent. It has a better soundstage. It just weaves music more subtly, musically, authentically, that I really enjoy. But as I said in my review of S15, it is a dynamically richer device. There is more details in top end, and certainly better how it works and channels bass. And then you find yourselves at a crossroad. Sometimes I love Node Icon more than S15, but sometimes when I play Dire Straits, when I play Led Zeppelin, A Perfect Circle, or some jazz, I just enjoy so much more S15 with how much energy and gravitas it brings. But with rock music, it is important as it also channels a lot of passion and emotions that way. It is more driving sound that helps your speakers that have that great driving energy behind them. But sometimes I listen to Steely Dan, I listen to some Johnny Mitchell, some Dead Can Dance, and that soundstage is everything, and how clinically I can assess instruments on soundstage, when they are where they are, and their scope, timbre and presence, especially the vocals, how they sound more clear, how room they have around it. So I just love how Bluesound Node Icon allowed voices to have more timbre, more space, and just more clarity. They might not be as presentable as S15, as like very sharp, but I sometimes, like, especially when listening like to Johnny Mitchell, I just enjoy that. Sonically, it can go both ways, to be honest, and it is more what kind of audiophile you are, will this device one or another be for you? But there is a big but here. S15 is dramatically more richer in inputs, outputs, feature, and just much better flexibility in what it can be. S15 had a better screen, S15 had a better DAC, S15 can be more things for more people for its applications and software, and how much it allows versatility, how you connect it, including that added SSD slot. So much more USB-C and USB-A inputs, DLNA, etc. It is just so much more feature and outputs that Bluesound Node cannot even start to compare there. So if you're all about flexibility, then absolutely S15 is the way you go, because flexibility is on S15 side. The Bluesound Node Icon does have two aces upon its sleeve. First, it is a more easier to use. It is simple, but I like it as I only use it as streamer. It is easier to connect and react and interact with it. I click on the song and voila, it appears on Bluesound Node Icon screen. I just prefer this much more to all other streamers that I reviewed here. Just less objects between me and music, even though feature-wise it is simple and not as flexible as S15. One thing more, it has really decent headphone amplification inside. It is incredible actually how good it is, how little Bluesound node icon is actually promoting it. It is a THX AAA certified and it can drive plenty of headphones, and with a deck inside truly be all-in-one solutions for a lot of people. So I would still prefer my Bluesound node icon for its ease of use, but I would certainly miss that energy, the details, and just overall presentation of S15. If I only loved S15 software, I would be singing a different tune now. But until when I start to enjoy S15 software, I am still a bit oriented to the Bluesound node icon. But when it does one day, it's gonna change a lot of things. By now you know what I feel. This is the device in my opinion that have a tough time understand what it needs to be. It has a crisis of identity. It is all for everyone, and yet in that way becomes a shattered dream for me. Is this device great? Yes, absolutely. It is maybe a best streamer on market if you look at it from perspective of sonics, versatility and build quality. It is dynamically really rich, detailed sound. It helps your speakers with bass so much that it is a big strong point. It has a clear output which is really dynamic, and just it is a great companion to your other hi-fi devices. But it is just not for me. I want to have a device that removes as much as obstacles between me and my music, as music is what I came here for, and FiiO just doesn't do that for me. I have crossed my fingers that the next device is going to fix many problems and remain as quality as this one. I want that. I want that next device for me to say proudly, this is the one. Buy it. It is the best thing on the market. It is amazing. But for now, for me, it is not. But for you, if you think I talk rubbish in my problem section, you use mostly your PC or a music server to stream music, then buy this device, as it is sonically incredible and you will be amazed by what it offers in this price range, as no one offers more in this price range than FiiO S15. Until the next time, keep daydreaming and see you in the next video. Bye!